Welcome to the This Could Make Us Famous podcast. You've heard all the stories of the rich and famous. But what about everybody else? Some of the greatest and funniest stories come from everyday people. Here, we share their stories and just maybe make them famous. Let's get started. Here is your host, Jason McCormick.
What is going on, everybody out there? Welcome back to the podcast. I am Jason, and with me today is someone that I've been looking forward to getting on the show for a long time.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the great and amazing Khaled.
Hey, how you doing?
I would do my little buzzer thing, but I had a friend of mine from work is like, dude, me and my wife watch your show, and she can't stand that buzzer. She's like, why do you do that? So we're just gonna take a break from that and see how that goes. But dude, welcome to the show, Colin.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How you feeling, man?
This is my first time.
First time, it's like I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, what do I put him up here? Yeah.
And guys, we can't forget. Of course, we cannot forget Mr. Charlie Bartha. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Wow. That's the best introduction that I've had since the last one.
Really?
Yeah.
When was the last one? It's been a while.
I don't know.
Well, welcome back to the show, Charlie. We're excited to have you. I'm really excited to have you, man.
Thanks.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
Let me explain who this guy is, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Khaled is we work together, okay? And I've not told you guys where I work because I don't want to be tied to that, just in case.
Yeah.
But we work together, and I've been telling him about my podcast, and he's been listening to the show and very interested in being on the show, and finally we made it happen. So now here we are.
Yeah.
Did you think this day would happen?
I was hoping it would, but it just took a minute for us to get the right time.
Yeah, right timing, and today I had to do overtime. I was so tired, but the show must go on.
Let's go on. Man.
So anyways, you did prepare something.
Yes.
Okay, I'm really excited about this part. So Khaled and his mother.
Yes, my mom helped me.
Do you want to give a shout out to your mom?
Yes. Hi, Mom, if you're watching.
Hi, Mommy.
This is your cooking and mine, just a little bit.
We're really excited about this. Check this out. Look at this.
What's in Khaled's bag?
Yeah, that's right. Oh.
No, it doesn't bite. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people from the Middle East would recognize this. This is called
man.
It's
shawarma.
a wrapper.
Yeah, it's just
This is
paper.
not what you think it is.
It's shawarma, or we call it in Arabic shawarma. So yeah. I love this.
This is a Middle Eastern burrito.
Basically, this is as Middle Eastern as it would get. It's if you want open it up, see what's in it.
Oh baby.
So let me see.
I can't see.
Can you guys see it?
It's like chicken and
vegetables
and some
There's
sauce.
all kinds of herbs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you want this part to be on the bottom when you're biting into it.
Wait. Wait. There's all kinds of herbs in there.
Herbs.
It's
Herbies.
herbs.
It's
herbs.
I know I call it herbs, but I thought herbs would be more appropriate.
So your mother chopped up herb and put him in that breakfast.
Did you want to try?
Herbs, excuse me.
Charlie, I know you can't have any because you're on the keto diet.
Okay. I mean, I've had some, but so I want you to have all of it.
So do you know what it tastes like then?
Yeah. I've had a lot of those.
All right, I'm going to take a bite of this sucker right here, and I'll tell you what I think. All right, this is shawarma, which is a delicacy in the Middle East.
I love this.
And Khaled's from?
Iraq, yes. I'm from Iraq,
yep.
yeah.
Not Iran or Iran.
It's a difference. It's one less.
No, let me ask you something. Is it Iraq or Iraq?
It's different, but I mean, the way I say it is Iraq because that's closer to the Arabic pronunciation of it. Yeah, but so for some people, they just see the I and they just say Iraq. Or
because I've
Iran.
heard people say Iran.
It's
Iran.
Yeah, it's
Iran.
the closest way to the Arabic pronunciation would be Iraq
away.
and Iran.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and eat this shawarma.
I take a bite, man. Tell me how it is.
Wow.
Now, would you dip that in something?
I mean, there is sauce in there. Oh yeah, but usually if you have like any we would have like a garlic based sauce that you can dip it in. Yeah.
So what's in this? Like chicken?
So it's chicken. You see all the vegetables.
Is that mayonnaise or is that?
It's honestly the
tzatziki sauce.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's garlic based. My mom makes it, and I usually just ask her for some if I run out to put on my sandwiches. But yeah, they're really good. I love them.
That's amazing. I would eat it the whole show, but
It would just be you chewing the whole show.
the whole podcast is me chewing. Like
It'll turn to ASMR all the time.
I'm gonna finish this later, but thank you, Colin's
No problem,
mom.
man. You're welcome. Oh yeah.
Hey, Colin.
Thanks, mom. Yeah.
She's amazing, man.
Yeah, she's.
So we talk about how you are from Iraq.
Yes.
And I really wanted to talk about, because when we were at work, you were kind of filling me in on some of the stuff that was going on and what you experienced. So we're just going to get right to it, guys. We're going to jump right into it. Maybe we'll get the show done in less than an hour. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see.
There's no rush, though.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
So let's talk about it. Us Americans, we are familiar with the Iraq War. And it's a very divisive subject because some people thought we weren't supposed to be there. Myself, and then there's people that were on board for it. Well, we hear the stories in America about the soldiers and what they went through and all that stuff, but you actually were a citizen and you lived there. That was your home, and I wanted to hear about your stories and what it was like growing up during that conflict in Iraq.
Okay, well, just for context so people understand what we're talking about, this is the 2003 war. And I think I was 11 at the time where this whole thing started. And I can tell you definitely, like you said, the perspective of the people. We as the people of Iraq, what did we expect? What did we want out of this war? Because, it was just another normal day for us. And then all of a sudden we hear in the news that the U.S. is coming and they're going to liberate us. And the reason for my hand quotes is because I'm going to tell you next what happened after the whole liberation thing. So it all started, I was upstairs just sitting in my room, I was playing on my Sega, I remember.
Yeah, Sega.
My mom comes upstairs and she's like, we need to go downstairs right now. I was like, what's going on? She's like, turn this off, we're going downstairs right now. And I could hear sirens going, like tornado sirens.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's going on? She was like, there's something bad happening. We need to go downstairs. Right? Because the reason for us going downstairs, if anything hits the house, like a rocket or anything, at least you have some sort of a
barrier to cover you. Yeah.
So we all go downstairs and then we're just glued to the TV, listening to the news. So it all started in, I want to say, it's like it was stages, right?
Yeah. So
at first it was just the war like on the borders and the government was still in power, the Iraqi government at the time, Saddam Hussein. And we as the people didn't really see much of a difference. I mean, obviously you can't go outside anymore and stuff, but life was still relatively normal-esque, let's say. After that was when the U.S. Army hit all the vital areas like, power, we're talking TV stations, radio stations, bridges.
Like oil? What about oil?
Well, here's the thing that Saddam did because he, for some reason, thought we're still in the 90s and the radar wasn't invented. I mean, it was, but for him, actually, I don't know if you saw this on TV, he would make these pits, just dig them out and would put oil in them and burn it. And you would have these, smoke screens just going up. For some reason, he thought this would block
Keep
the vision.
Planes,
planes from seeing. But I mean, obviously, there's maps and radar. It was pointless, and it was just so bad for us, the people, because all that smoke. It would rain,
soot?
like black rain because of it was horrendous, and it was just harmful for us. So eventually, after we knew that, his regime was no more and the war is over, but it's just kind of like certain areas that were still fighting, people started putting those fires out because there were military trucks that would come in and just dump oil in them just to keep them going, tires, anything to keep them going.
Wow. So wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy. So I remember you mentioned something like you were 11 years old at the time, and you said something about you were outside playing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
something happened.
That story. This was. I mean, I wanted to, like I said, put the war like in stages.
Okay.
So that was, like I said, the first stage was just the fighting on the borders. Nothing happens. After that, we lost power. We actually we didn't have power for a really long time. I remember it was like 6 months or 5 months.
6 months.
Yeah, something crazy like that. We had no power, no water as well.
So what did you do?
Because of what everybody was gathered at my grandpa's house because it was in a relatively like safer area. We didn't have any government facilities close to us except for the one, and I'll tell you the story about that one too. So that was in that stage where we just kind of went back to like primitive ages. No power, no water. How we got water was some people dug wells in the ground.
Yeah.
And we would just like queue in the morning to just get water for like washing, drinking, cooking, stuff like that. Yeah.
Wow.
It was, no power. And it was just board games. You would have like the elderly, like older people just telling stories, and we kids would just sit around. And I remember like, it's like, and when you have no power and it's darkness, you would have like candlelight. Near every candle, because there were so many people in the house because everybody kind of left their houses and came to grandpa's house. So you just have like these gatherings of people just telling different stories. So you can leave this group and just, it was honestly, I look at it, like I look back now and I remember these times and I miss them because everybody was together, even though everything was so horrible outside of that.
Right. They're like that caused, I mean, it's similar to what we're going to now, like with the
pandemic.
The pandemic. But yeah, like you took something that you could see a little bit of good in that, even though it was kind of crazy.
It was. And then I remember one of the like weirdest thing that happened. We had a sandstorm. These are not unusual back home.
Right.
But they happen like really like rarely happen ever. Like in my lifetime, it has never happened. But because of the military, especially like the ground troops was coming through the desert. It was like,
stirring up
all that dust, and we had a sandstorm that we've never seen before. Like it was like a few inches of sand on our like outside. It was that crazy, and it was like red everywhere. Like the whole, like the skies, everything was red. I've never seen anything like it before. Unfortunately, we didn't have like cell phones at the time to like film it. But it was like 2004 or 5 at that time. But yeah, so that story you asked me about was it was during that blackout where we didn't have any power or anything, and obviously you don't have washing machines because we don't have power.
Right.
So my mom was washing some clothes out in the yard, and I was playing, and we hear this really loud bang. Like I want to like if I had to describe it, it's like metal hitting the ground at a really like fast, like something really hit the ground hard, and we could hear people like yelling outside and screaming. Like the house was shook and like the windows were shaking. That's another thing we did. Funnily, we taped the windows with Scotch tape, just because of
the vibrations.
It doesn't shatter. Yeah. Luckily, our house the glass was thicker,
right?
So we didn't have. I mean, some of them kind of like just cracked, but nothing shattered. Other houses definitely shattered. But yeah, we hear a noise and people running outside. We run out. I mean, I was a kid, so I wanted to know what was going on.
Right.
So I run out, and it's like a house, like a couple of blocks behind where we lived, and like a mortar shell had hit it on the roof. Luckily, the people had fled to Syria, because funny enough,
they fled to Syria.
Because Syria was stable at the time. Like there was nothing going on there. And it just like destroyed everything. Luckily, it didn't explode. It was like a bad shell, but just the impact almost took the second floor out. But like if that thing would have exploded, I mean, I would have definitely caused some shrapnel and other people as well. It was because it was so close to the house.
Oh my god!
Dude, that's just one of them. Like I said,
you have numerous, and then the one that like you don't have to go in full detail who it was, but the shooting, like you've seen people get shot.
Yeah, I've seen people get shot. I've seen just bodies on. Like I mean, I was a kid at the time.
11 years
like
old,
11 and 12, and seeing all these things like bodies on the floor. Like I was playing soccer with my friends because that's a big sport back there.
Yeah.
So we were like just finishing up, so we were headed home. So there was like a water fountain. We were drinking off of it, and we hear shooting. It's not unusual to hear shooting, so we just brush it off. It's like, like that's something that's normal. Hearing shooting, explosions, that's totally normal. People just go about their life when they hear it. Oh, whatever. So we do that. We're walking home, and we saw two guys just running, and one of them had his hand under his shirt, is like hiding something, But like because he's running, he was barefoot. I saw the gun. He had like a pistol in his hand. So there was like a store there, and he told us to come inside because he didn't want us to get hurt. We do go inside, and then eventually they run off, and there's a couple of guys running after them, trying to catch them. So they get into a car on the highway, and they just drive off. We start walking back and see a gathering of people, and that's where I saw the body. Like, what was the first time I've ever seen a dead body. Wow. It was funny because it was like not funny, but it was just my friend's relative, his uncle or something close to him, and like I could see my friend's heart just like drop. He's like, oh. He just pointed and said nothing. He couldn't say anything. He was in shock. Dude. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know how to react. I was like, I don't know. What do I do here? I know who that is. And then another guy that was injured. And I remember, like I said, I don't want to get too detailed.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Totally fine.
But he got dragged off because they were taking him to the hospital because an ambulance was going to take too much time. He was bleeding out. Yeah. The other guy that was wounded. But that other guy he was shot in the head. So there was no hope to save him. Yeah, man, it's stuff like that. And numerous times, like where I remember this one story. This was like in the later stages, like after the American Army had retreated from Iraq and everything. I was helping a friend out. He was taking like it's the equivalent of a GED. He was trying to get his high school diploma, basically. So I would go there to the test, school, they would get tested, for exams. And I was helping him out. So after he was done, we had our car parked at the parking lot. Yeah. And my friend said, all right, let's go home, basically. So we're walking to the car, and a friend of ours, he saw us walking out. He's like, hey, how did you answer this question? So we were comparing answers. And in that time that he stopped us, a bomb went off in the parking lot. And, if we were,
we're there.
If we were there 2 minutes, that's 2 minutes literally had saved my life. But the thing about terrorism and how it's described in the news, it's always like, oh, terrorists did this to said country or this. Right. But the thing that confused us the most, because that's where the finger gets pointed to us, the people, oh, all Arabs, terrorism, because that's what they do. But it's when I see it from my perspective, it's wait a minute, but we're dying, because that's how it was. And these explosions and attacks, they do not target political figures or anything. It's just normal people like me. Mm-hmm. Just we have a thing, what we call bloody insert day of the week, right? So we have Bloody Monday, Bloody Tuesday. Why do we call it that? Because it would be such a group, a big group of people that would get targeted by a terrorist attack. And then so many people die that the name Bloody came out, and then started. Man. Eventually, we had a bloody every day of the week. We had Bloody Monday, Bloody Friday, and then they started overlapping. So we stopped doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, because imagine, we have a celebration we call Eid, and it's basically, we go, it's the equivalent of Christmas. People go shopping, visit relatives, and it's usually celebrated by kids, and their parents is usually the mom takes the kids to buy some stuff. And this was really popular back home. I didn't see it reported at all. And outside of my country, but on that day, so 2 trucks that are the ones that they go to gas stations, they drop fuel, the ones with the
the fuel tankers.
Yeah. So and they had explosives in them, and they're basically just parked at each entrance, and they blow up at the same time.
Yeah.
And when I say this, I'm not exaggerating. People cooked inside that building for hours. Yeah. And people outside with cell phones, you could hear people scream inside. But nobody could say.
Nobody can do anything.
Nobody can do anything.
So this was your reality as a kid, and
this is basically me growing up.
The thing is, it's so easy to when we're here in a whole nother country, we're not used to that. That's not our reality. Yes, we got stuff that happens here. We have violence that happens here, but that's a whole different reality.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you literally lived in war.
Yeah.
As a child, you were in a war, and you witnessed things that no kid should have. And, and I think what you were talking about, how people look at, Arabic people, and they immediately, when they connect terrorism with that. But you made a good point. Just because, some bad people do some bad things does not mean that everyone is like that. They're not all just like there's not all radical Christians or, you know, there's radical people that have extreme ideas that do bad things. And what you said about political, it's like they don't attack the political figures. They attack the everyday, regular, innocent people. Yeah. A lot of things are carried out by our leaders of our countries. And then, you know, the innocent people have to suffer the consequences. I mean,
the funny thing about that, we talked about this, remember? Because to us, it was so confusing to see all the because we would get like images and, you know, news reports of the protests happening in the States against the Iraqi war. You know, people in Washington saying, you know, don't go to war. And it was like, well, why are the American people here? Like, why is the army here then? Why is there such a contrast between what the government wants and what the people wants? That was really confusing to me as a kid, especially. I mean, obviously, everybody had that question because you're saying this, like, sometimes what the politicians decide to do is not really always what the people want.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's what they want.
It's what they want. They have a master plan that they're following, and things got to happen that way. But it's because when you see the people saying, no, that's not what we want, you know, obviously I'm not here trying to demonize the American people. I live here now, and this country's been better to me than, you know, I like, because my life has just been war, basically.
Yeah, that's all you knew.
Yeah, well. So, but it was like mind-blowing to me to see that contrast, you know, between what the people wanted and what the government wanted. And that's exactly what I wish the American people, not all of them, obviously, the people who would think that we're just a bunch of terrorists, would look at it, or like, what Saddam wanted wasn't necessarily what we wanted. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, the way he's identified to the people, the way Saddam is presented as a tyrant, as somebody who just, you know, didn't really care what his people wanted, you know? So, and for us to just put in one group with him as we're, you know, cheering for him or wanting him to do, it's just not
it's
right.
Like, just because he had these ideologies, like this is what he stood for, doesn't mean that all of his people stood for that and agreed. Just not. Like in America, I mean, you know, that we don't agree with all of our leaders every time.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you think, Charlie, about like the whole Iraq war? I mean, you remember all that more than probably any of us because you were older. You're more advanced in age than us.
Honestly, I'm interested in seeing, like, because Jason's reaction was just like, whoa, like, and you know, I know his stance of the war. What, as like, you know, regular everyday American, what did you think of the war?
Well, I was actually I was only guard, but I was in the service during I think I got out right before the second conflict, but the first one I was involved in, well, not involved in, but I was part of the military. And like I was telling you before, I was with the Air National Guard base up in Battle Creek, Michigan, and the A-10s are the ones that went over for the first time. And it was pretty much it wasn't too much of a ground war. I mean, there's troops on the ground, but it was airstrike. Right. So, you know, the people on the ground obviously are defenseless, and they don't go out there and target. I mean, they use a lot of intel, and that they just don't go, oh, there's a building, let's hit that. Oh, there's a building, let's hit that. You know, there's a lot of intel inside information when they target these. So sometimes the rounds get waylaid, and by waylaid, they don't go where they're supposed to go, and unfortunately, civilians get taken out, but that's not their main target as civilians, at least from what I understand and know. It was quite an interesting thing. I was going to ask you when Saddam got taken down, what was the reaction of the people over there? Because in the United States, it was like
celebration.
Yeah, it was like winning the lottery type of thing.
Well, obviously, you know, the media focused on the people that were celebrating more than anything else. And I'm not going to lie, most of us were happy because, it's changed. He's been in
liberation.
Power. Yeah, he's been in power 35 years, and we were under, like, some people, like, not some, a lot of people were hungry. But here's the caveat to that. If you ask any Iraqi today, would you take Saddam's days over what's going on in Iraq right now? I guarantee you most of them would say, I would take Saddam's days over what's going on right now. Because things dramatically changed after. Like initially, it was soldiers walking in the streets. Like I was used to guide them to where stores are because we don't have big stores like, over here. You can, that's a store. I'm going to it. It's usually like smaller stores ran by people, like, everyday people. So I would tell them where stores are, and they were just walking around. They didn't even need, some of them would take their armors out. Like it was safe for them first. And then obviously you start getting people who say, because from the perspective of some of the people at least, you're an invader. Like that's how you, as an American, would you allow any country to come into your, and you know what I mean? Like,
and take over.
Hey, we're going to, let's say Donald Trump is in power for like another 30 years and eventually somebody comes in, moves them from power, like just a hypothetical. But then you would, after that, you were like, wait a minute, but now you're trying to control me. You're not from my, you know what I mean? That's how a lot of the people of Iraq looked at it. So there was the resistance was born basically, and soldiers would get targeted. But like to answer your questions, the reaction from most people was, happiness, joy. Oh my God, yes, something new. Because here is like the simple-minded, like the simplest thought that goes through anybody's head when that happened. Oh, we're gonna get cell phones now. We're gonna get cable TV. We're gonna get all the fancy things America gets that we see on TV, right? But the opposite happens. We got these things, like, technology just caught up to what we had back then, but it was what came after. Because this is how it first started. Soldier would start getting targeted because they would do they would just do rounds of like just checking out places. The U.S. Army would just, all of a sudden, they're here. We just say that, they're here. And that means the U.S. Army is here. And they would just kind of like move around the cities and check what's going on just to say, hey, we're here. You know what I mean? To keep everything in check. Because there was no government. There was nothing keeping the people from just going ham. So they started getting shot at first, and when that happens, these soldiers obviously in fear,
they're scared for their lives.
Yeah, so they retaliate. But they don't really see a target because it's usually some dude with a pistol who shot from his window and just hid. And who falls victim for that foolishness is the bystanders, people that just going about their business. So these soldiers freak out. He starts spinning his machine gun, and you just have dead people on the floor. And then eventually just book it. Because you're not going to stay there if you're getting attacked. So a lot of this happened. So you start seeing the military's presence in the streets. Just starts, they start they start being scared of being out in the street. So it goes back to just them being inside their Humvees now. They don't go out as as they used to. It's stuff like that. But it was.
Well, that makes complete sense. I mean, any American, we got to understand what he said. No matter how you put it, we would not be okay with some foreigners showing up on our land and telling us, what to do. I mean, some people are like, well, what about the Native Americans, what we did to them? And that's a whole nother subject. But it totally makes sense to me. And then, the American soldiers, which I love America, I love our military, support them. I mean, I got this on. They were scared for their lives. So you got these people that are agitated because they have people that are taking over their country. Basically. And you got American soldiers that are coming in trying to do good or what they feel is good, listening to their commanders and doing what they feel their duty is. And they get shot at, so they're on edge, and then innocent people get killed. So, I mean, just simply war is a nasty thing, and it's just never good. And I wish we didn't have to have that. Now, I wanted to move just a little bit, real quick, move out of Iraq. Just being Arabic, I know you kind of mentioned to me, you've had to deal with some sort of racism.
Oh yeah, a lot of times.
And did you want to share briefly that story what happened?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, it's numerous times. It's honestly sometimes it's not even encounters that you can tell a story of. It's usually just a look or one word that you hear or a hand signal, something. My mom was once at Walmart and she had a headscarf on. That's when she's,
Yeah.
And a guy just like drove really close to her and like he pulled it, or he said something nasty to her. I don't want to say it here.
Yeah.
He said something really bad and he pulled it, and he just came home crying like,
Oh,
why is that
horrible,
you know, like,
man.
what do you do? I was her son. I was like, what do I do to this guy? If you know what I mean?
Shame on that.
It's
man.
like that. These are the kind of things. But for me, though, the story that stands out that you were talking about. I used to work at this cell phone place, Boost Mobile. It's a really small place, but we sell like phone cases, accessories, stuff like that. Yeah. This guy walks up to me and he wants a phone case. So I was like, he was asking me the prices for him, and we had one that's really cheap for like $5. And I was like, we have this for $5, and he's like, cool, I'll get it. We log all our sales that we make in like a book. So I did that. The guy leaves 2 weeks after he comes back, right? And that cell in particular it's so cheap. It's just kind of stuck in my mind. So I remember him. Like I remembered him when he walked in, and he was saying he wants to refund the case because it's broken. We had like a 1 week refund policy. So I said, I can't do that. My boss at work doesn't allow me. The guy gets mad, and he starts like, it started like with just like, you know, you guys are trying to steal my money, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what, relax. It's $5. It's not a big deal. And he gets more agitated. I'm staying calm. I'm not trying to like engage with him. Eventually he's just like, go back to your country. Like he just goes there, you know, like Go back to your country. You guys come here stealing our jobs, all that mumbo jumbo. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, you didn't really need to go there. It's $5. Eventually he's like, what time do you leave work? What kind of car do you drive? I'll wait for you and stuff like that.
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
God, dude.
It's relax. I drive a Kia Rondo. It's parked right there. It's red. Yeah. I mean, imagine over a $5 phone case. So yeah.
People could be so hateful, but like we were talking about today in the car, we had a really good conversation. Because I went through something at work the other day where someone was really nasty to me, and I did nothing, literally nothing. And they just snapped at me, and they were rude. But the thing is I didn't return, evil for evil. Like I basically was nice and returned kindness to them and then moved on. And I mean, racism's a whole nother thing. But you held it together, for the most part, and you could have been really nasty to that guy.
Yeah, I could have.
But you diffused it.
To him, so.
Yeah, you diffused the situation somewhat, by not returning what he was, doing to you.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a cycle.
It's
a cycle. It's just like war. When you talk about extremists, how do you think these guys are born? Like, how do they come to be that? We talked about, like an American soldier gets shot at, he shoots back, his wife or his daughter dies.
Yeah.
What does he do? Who does he, take out his revenge on? So he joins these groups who just feed on these cases.
Yeah.
They grow, so it's the same with hatred. Like people, like somebody walks up to me and he's like, yeah, you're XYZ, go back to your country, you're Arab, he calls me all these nasty things, and I go back and do it to him, and then what do we gain? You know what I mean? This
Nothing.
cycle has to end somewhere, and I will gladly take an L every time somebody comes at me with something like that. Like, you know what, dude, I get it. Call me what you want. I'm just not gonna.
And I feel like that is truly the answer to the world's problems right now.
Yeah,
if we would just simply stop trying to defend ourselves all the time and get the last word in. If we could just be the better person and just love people, or at least just not return evil for evil. And
it really doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, because you're throwing, the whole analogy about gas, throwing gasoline on a fire, it's not putting it out.
Yeah.
So the best thing is let people have their reaction and just kind of back off and let them. And I've had situations with people where they lost it on me and they were really nasty to me, and I returned kindness to them, and then all of a sudden it did something to them and they felt bad. Like either they were having a really bad day, people go through things all the time we don't know of. And, maybe that guy, who knows what.
Exactly. And I'm not
still no excuse for what he did,
no,
but still.
The reason I'm telling this story is I'm not like blaming him. I mean, obviously I felt bad at the time, but I forgive him. If I would see him today, I would have no grudge or anything like that. It's just to point out that just like if you present a story, obviously everybody's going to have a reaction to it. But that is exactly my approach to the whole thing. Just forgive people. Because I'll give you like one that you think, that made me think, imagine when we always hate our managers, right? We say, oh my God, he was so mean to me today.
Yeah.
But from the perspective of a manager, to him, you're just one person. Like to you, he's just one person, right? You got to deal with him, just one person. But he has like 30 or 40 or 50 employees that he has to deal with. Maybe 3 of them were really mean to him today, and that just messed up the rest of his day. And then you came and you have a big smile on your face.
Right, and he could have a lot of pressure on him
Exactly.
or her, from their upper management that's over them,
Right.
like, why aren't you doing this?
That's what I'm saying. It's like we always look at things like, oh, he didn't smile or she didn't smile at me today. How dare they, right? But you're not putting into perspective what they have to go through.
Exactly.
So just put yourself
in other people's shoes.
Just empathy. Just be empathetic. That's all the world needs right now. Just think of, when you're blaming a whole race for a crime of one lunatic. It's just not how the world works.
It shouldn't
You know what I
be.
mean? It shouldn't be like this.
It shouldn't.
Honestly, even right now, like what's going on in Iran,
Yeah.
even though I don't agree with their politics, but I'm 100% sure there's maybe a guy from Iran who has a podcast just like this, who's trying to make it on YouTube. He has big dreams and goals. He has daughters and sons, and he wants to be, you know what I mean? There is.
He shouldn't have to suffer for the faults of his government.
The government did something, and now he has to, his
Suffer,
whole, it's just not. It's not fair.
sad.
Yeah.
Not to change the subject or anything, Jason, but you didn't introduce the other guest.
Oh, the ladybug, is it back?
Yeah.
Oh, is it Matt?
Dadgummit.
Oh God.
The attack of the killer
Yeah,
ladybug.
but
He's
distracting
gonna
over here.
assassinate me.
It just
Boy.
jumps on your
Yeah.
head, just knocks you
Just
out.
has that knife here, just like, hey, spit it out.
We have this. I guess it's a. Is it
it
a
a
Japanese?
ladybug?
It's a Japanese beetle.
It's not a Japanese. It might be a Japanese. It's a
some
beetle.
sort of. It's
a
some
beetle.
sort of insect.
It's
I don't know
in
what
the ladybug family. It looks exactly like a
it
ladybug.
looks red to me from here. Is that?
It's orange.
It
orange
is.
and black.
Yeah. That's
Well,
right.
it's making its debut. I don't think you guys can see it, but
It's really small.
it might do a Mike
gonna
Pence
take
and
a
land
picture
on
of
land on Charlie's head.
Put it on the YouTube channel.
Hey, we'll go viral. It'll be like hashtag ladybug on
Yeah.
Charlie's head. But anyways, so that's so funny. This is kind of just to lighten things up to be funny. There was someone. I don't know if I want to say where, but okay, somebody that we both know, and they made a comment. And I laughed, we both laughed about it
okay,
because it's
that
kind of
story.
like it's so weird and ridiculous
Yeah, I
that
can
you
tell
just
that
can
story.
almost just
I'll tell
don't
that
mention
story.
names or
Nah,
anything,
It's fine.
just-
It's not that person. I'm not gonna say the name. But I was at work. Me and Jason worked together, and this lady who's really out there.
Yeah.
And you know her.
very eccentric.
Yeah, very eccentric. Lady is just kind of out there. She no filters, just says what she thinks all the damn time. And I was leaving the break room. She calls me like, "Hey, Khaled." I was like, "Oh, who's calling me?" I look around and it's her. She says, legit. She says, "Where's your magic carpet?"
Oh my God.
Like, dude, I was like, what? Magic? I didn't catch on. I swear to God. She says, "Your magic carpet." And I said, "What are you talking about?" A lady right in front of her said, "You can't say," that's when I caught. She said,
yeah.
"You can't say that." And I was like, oh my God.
Dude, what?
I was like, really? And she goes, "Because you're an Arab, you have a turban." And I was like, "You're seriously doing that right now?"
Yeah, like really, like this is happening.
This is
right now?
happening. But it was so out there that you were like, wow, okay. That
Yeah,
just
and this
happened.
person's their personality is a lot like that. Like they just all the time.
Oh yeah. I know she didn't mean anything.
Yeah,
malicious by
she's
it.
totally not
Yeah.
like trying to be racist.
Oh, yeah,
she,
definitely.
I think she was just legitimately trying to be funny and cute.
Or it's
just
like friendly to me.
friendly,
Like,
like,
hey, I know
"Hey,
something
where's
about
your
his
magic
culture."
carpet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I know something about your culture.
this is extremely racist today.
You
I
know?
watched Aladdin the other day. I
Yeah,
know
that's-
all about your
I know
culture.
everything about you. You have a genie.
my God.
Dude. I mean, she could have said that just to top it off. But I honestly I love her.
Dude, when
She's
you
just
told
a
me that,
sweet
I
old
just
lady.
couldn't help it. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's
Jason just bursted out
I'm
laughing.
like that's so over.
Okay.
I don't want to say what that looks like.
We're not gonna put that on.
We're not gonna put that on there. Charlie, you enjoyed that, didn't you? Just need some Vaseline and. No, but no, dude, it caught me off so much.
Oh my God, yeah.
I,
Jason just
I freaking
blurted
laughed so hard. I'm like,
so hard.
dude, that's so over the
like,
top.
Honestly,
Like,
you
who
would not
says that?
expect that like in front of so many people, dude. He was just like, "Where's your magic carpet?" And I was just like, "Whoa!"
And then I really lost it when she said the turban thing.
oh my
I'm
God,
like,
she was just like trying
because
to.
I didn't know that Arabic people wore turbans. I thought it was
it's
Indian.
mostly Sikh people.
Sikh.
You know the long beard, the
beards,
mustache. Yeah, that's people who wear it for.
That just shows you how like oblivious to like reality that Americans can be, or it's just people.
Yeah, some people are just
to other cultures
just
and
clump the whole like the East is just like one big entity.
Because like when I being here in America, when I see the Middle East, I think of a desert, I think of camels, and I think of all the stereotypical stuff. Just like someone from another country that looks at America, sand fleas, spider camels or whatever, camel spiders, the ones that can eat you. That's Afghanistan, I think.
I've never heard of that.
Okay, well,
I'm from there.
Okay. I've been lied to because someone said that they saw people get eaten by camel spiders, and it's a bunch of bull.
That's probably.
But the same thing though with America, like people in other countries. I'm sure they have a lot of stereotypes of America, like how
I've seen. I mean. The biggest, like I said, there was a culture shock for me when I moved here. Definitely, the first thing I noticed because I was driving. I mean, I wasn't driving. We've been driven to the airport. Mm-hmm. It was like around, I want to say like 9 p.m., like maybe 10 p.m. The streets were empty, dude. Like there was nobody outside, and I was just like, "Where are the people?" Because I want to
So this is the United States. You're in the United States.
I'm here. I'm in the States. It was a journey to get to the States. Let me tell you. But it was weird because we're so used to people being just hanging. What is that?
It's a sun spider or a camel spider.
I have never seen that before.
Oh my God.
Where is that? Like, what country did they originate in, or continent? Or
hey, save that picture. I'm gonna post it up.
Yeah, it's insane. It looks terrifying. But yeah.
So anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah, I was telling you, like, I didn't see a lot of people out. Like nearly none. There was nobody. So because in my country, people are just walking in because you can go from your house to the area where people shop, like the souk is what we call it, or souk.
Okay.
And there was nobody there, like the market, the bazaar. That's the closest thing to it. And I was like, where are the people? It's so weird because I learned that stores over here close at 9, most of them at least. Before COVID, people just close at 9. And, people just go. There are stores that are 24/7, but, not everything is 24. But that was like one. And then another thing was Walmart. Now, that was a real culture shock because when you go and you meet the people of Walmart, the people of Walmart.
There's a website.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Peopleofwalmart.com.
I've seen that firsthand. Like,
oh, my God.
They're a different breed. Like, that legit.
Oh, my God.
Dude, I walk into Walmart and I was like, what is going on? Where are these? Like, because, I mean, from my experience, we live in a hierarchical society where, the young respects the old. Like your older brother can send you to do things for him all day. And you can't complain because it's just like respect the elderly, just like Japan.
Yeah.
It's called a hierarchical society, and it's like when I came over here, that's not a thing. Like you could call somebody who's 60 by their first name. It's totally normal. But back home, you gotta say, "Oh, you father of something" or "Mr." something. You know what I mean? You have to be really formal and stuff. But like men back home and women, like they would wear, like, especially the older you get, you're more elegant, you wear more like something, I don't know how to describe it, but like you go to Walmart and this 70-year-old dude just wearing short and have his butt is hanging out and like a tank top and his hair is just like somebody slapped him and I was like, what is this? Like, it was so weird to me. I don't know how to describe it, but it was definitely a culture shock.
Yeah, if
like,
you want a culture shock,
Jason,
you go to Walmart at like 3 a.m.
You've been debunked, Jason. They don't eat camels or people.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's just out there.
Well, my whole life was a lie.
Yeah, it's just.
So, okay, this is another thing I wanted to talk about because I knew we were going to talk about some of the hardships of growing up in Iraq. Let's talk about what is amazing about your country. Like,
food.
what Yeah, tell me everything good about Iraq that people don't see.
Hang on a second. Middle Eastern deserts. That's all it says.
Okay.
What, like where they're from?
Most commonly in the Middle Eastern deserts. It is found in southwestern United States and Mexico.
Yeah. Too
Okay.
bad they don't have camels.
Well, we don't have to
there.
deal with that.
Yeah.
So go on, tell
What's
us.
amazing?
Or on
Obviously,
Jason's ceiling.
you can't really compare anything to home. Obviously, it'll always be home. You know, like if you leave the States, no matter where you go, it's still not home. So that's the first thing, obviously, the most obvious thing. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's like we have amazing food. Everything is organic. You know, we don't have anything that's processed. Just
Really? So everything is straight up organic.
yeah,
Like you
we
have the
don't
markets and
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
that
like
stuff.
it's like legit. You can. There are areas where you can just drive for like 10 minutes. You don't even need to drive. There are like farmers that you can just buy straight out of. You know, like you can just go walk up to them and give them money, and they would give you like vegetables and whatnot.
What about spices? Is it big?
Spices are big, yeah, but we just buy our spices like, you know, in the market. We have markets, man, that are like you get lost in them. That's how big they are. Like we have a place called Shorja, and then Babi Sherji. It's like they literally translate to like the Eastern Gate, because Baghdad back in the day was called the Circle City, the Circular City. It was just like a circle and surrounded by gates. Yeah, the Abbasid, it was called the Abbasi. They built it. The Abbasid, that's like an era of governors or people who ruled like kind of the Islamic world. And the Abbasid built Baghdad, and it was the center of all like knowledge, and all like people from all over the world came over to study there. That was back in the golden ages of Islam. But yeah, like I love our food. I love our sense of community, because back home people like are so like if you have a flat tire in Iraq, there's like at least 50 people on top of you trying to help you push your car, get you food. Like you can get invited to a house even without asking it. Like, hey, you come over for dinner. Like we used to like
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude, the American
Yeah.
like, my
That's amazing.
like my uncles used to work at a gas station, and at one period of time the U.S. Army was in charge of that. They would like see over like gas stations and just guard them, because they're a big source of money, you know. So these American soldiers became friends with my uncles, and my uncles would invite them to the house, and we would just have like a big, like, you know, we have like a food prepared for them, and they would just come in, take their shoes off, and just start wailing at food. They used to love my grandma's cooking. She used to cook them kebab. I'm sure you heard of kebab. Kubba, like all sorts of like Iraqi food, man, and they just like, oh my god, what is this stuff? And they just wail at it, like they love it, yeah, man. But yeah, so like it's that you have, you know, like so many things I can't remember. You can just go out for a walk. I mean, back in when it was safe, at least you can go out for a walk, and stores are open all the time. You always find people out. There's so many good things that I can't describe. You have to go there to like.
I noticed that the hospitality, like you mentioned about that, the hospitality is just amazing.
Yeah,
like it's mind blowing. It's so different than here. I mean, yes, there are people in the United States that are very,
Generous.
generous. They'll welcome you in, but it's like that's a whole nother level, man.
Like we have I'm pretty sure you've heard of Ramadan. It's where people fast for a month. I mean, not continuously, you know, you break your fast during, but excuse me. So there's a tradition where one plate would leave a house, and it's full of some sort of food, and it would go to the neighbors, and the neighbors pass it on with food, a different type of food, to the other neighbor, and eventually that plate would go all over the neighborhood.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then you get it eventually with some other food. You're like, okay, let's try this. So it's stuff like that, small things, man. Like I said, I got sick once at like 10 a.m. and we would have curfews happen all the time, because like there was a terrorist group that threatened to do this. So curfew, or the country, like the state of Baghdad, the capital, would just go on curfew. It was curfew. Nobody was allowed to go outside. And it was like 11 p.m. I got really sick to my stomach. I was in pain. There wasn't a car available for me at the time, so I called my friend. My friend doesn't have a car. He calls his brother. His brother comes through with like 2 other cars. Eventually, like they all want to help. Like this is how it is. I'm not exaggerating this. So one of them takes me, and I'm like a total stranger to his brother. You know what I mean? They take me in the car, and then they go through. It's curfew, so they can get in trouble. And they beg these like checkpoints that we would have, because we had military applied at the time, like deployed on the street. And they were like, we have somebody who's sick, please let us through. And I can remember, because like I was in pain, but I was like passing out from the pain. That was how bad it was. But I would like wake up and see them like just pleading, like, please let us go through. He's horribly ill. And then they just kept going checkpoint through checkpoint. So checkpoints would start like eventually tell each other like, hey, we have this one car, this color, this model, let him pass, let him pass. Eventually they got me to the hospital. They stayed with me for like a whole entire night. They're not like, that was the first time I met my brother's friend. I mean, my friend's brother. That it's just people love to help you. I'm not exaggerating. People would. And another thing about generosity and hospitality, if you go to eat with any like Arabs back home, if you get invited to eat at someone's home, you're not paying, dude. They would fight you over the bill. Like if you ever seen, it's funny, if you look up Arabic memes and stuff like that, that's usually what it is. People fighting over the bill. Like a group of friends wanted to eat, and one of them would steal the check. Like, no, I'll pay. No, I'll pay. And there would like a fight breaks out. It's not a literal fight, but people would start yelling, no, I'll get it. Oh, come on, man, let me do it. Like stuff like that. Yeah. People just want to be generous.
Generous,
yeah,
kind,
it's like
it's
in society, it's something good to do. It's like how we're raised and how we're taught. Yeah,
that's how it is over in Hungary too. That's how my.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
you actually literally getting fist fights over the
dude. Yeah, like I'm paying.
I'm gonna pay for that.
Yeah, and everybody just like gets carried out on a stretcher. And
missing teeth and stuff.
I
like,
play it off like, yeah, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna order one more thing.
Honestly, there is always that one guy who does that. Like honestly, in the group, the guy that's really cheap, he's like, I'll take it. And we're like, you're not gonna pay for this. But we don't want to hurt him. So I'm like, no, it's okay. I'll get it.
Yeah,
so.
You're totally.
Yeah, you're totally.
You're broke.
Yeah, you're broke. You're not doing it. But we know that, so we just play it off like you're like, oh, you are. I mean, we honestly one time do it to him.
You are.
Oh, okay, there you go. Well, he just in shock, and if we do that to him, but we should do that to one of those people. It would be hilarious.
So now that you're in this area, have you found a good restaurant that has
Middle Eastern food?
Yeah.
Actually, my friend works at one. I forgot. I have the address. I've been there a couple of times, but I forgot the exact location. But they make really good Arabic food as well. Like I would eat it and I'm like, okay, this is good. If you guys are like interested in trying any of that, I would definitely give you, because I mean, I love their, like the way they have gyros. I love gyros, man. They're so good. But yeah, I found a couple of places, but they're always missing that. I don't know how to describe it. It's not genuine. It's not like the same. Something is missing. When you go back home and you eat it, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the stuff, because it's the meat. The meat is different. Like
it's organic.
It's
like
all
everything's
organic.
Yes,
yeah. That's what people like. When you go to a country like Iraq and you eat the food, and you're like, what is different? Something is different about it. It's real sugar. It's real meat. It's real everything. You know what I mean? So like, because a lot of the food here is just processed, because you have so many people to feed.
Jason, tell them about our experience at the authentic Mexican restaurant.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
was it authentic or authentic?
I mean, if they called it authentic,
Okay.
the guy that he had just opened the restaurant, he's very passionate about it, and I appreciate that. Like he loved what he did, and he poured all of his,
just like the Indian couple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so he kind of. I don't know, what would you call it?
All I can remember about the whole entire deal was, number one, he said, "Can you trust me?"
Yeah,
that's kind of weird to ask.
And then we said, "Yeah," and all three of us said, "Yeah." Mm-hmm. And he left and come back 20. I don't know how long it took to cook with the meal, and they weren't bad. Might not have been what we chose. But.
Well, the chips and salsa, I judge a Mexican restaurant on their chips and salsa for the most part.
Right.
And it was watery, in my opinion, the salsa. And then I remember
but do Mexican restaurants and or Hispanic restaurants, wherever you go, is that one of their main staples?
Chips and salsa.
It's being
pretty
watery,
much.
or is it just?
It was watery, man.
No, just chips and salsa in general. Because I've been to some that don't have it. It's it's on their menu, but they don't.
Most every single one of them I've ever been to, that's standard. Like. But anyways, the guy, he shared the menu with me, and he's like, all right, you want beef, chicken, or pork? And then he shares his different, And I go in and I'm like, well, you know what? I'll just take some fajitas. And he's like,
That was the look he gave Jason.
Oh my God,
was
dude.
priceless. I wish I would have been.
it was like
wish
I
had
asked
my
him for
camera
the
out.
keys to his car. Like
'Cause he's like, dude,
What was his reaction?
he was just like,
he's like,
no.
that's not authentic food. That's
He's
not
like,
authentic
no,
Mexican.
that's not authentic
Oh.
Mexican.
Okay.
We do not do ground beef here. We do not do yellow cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, so like, I'm like, dude, I just want some
sorry.
fajitas, man. Like,
I'm sorry.
Every Mexican restaurant I've been to
Yeah.
has fajitas.
I-
I did not know that they
Yeah.
weren't authentic.
He gets nice like, oh, pendejo. He just
Oh, yeah,
like goes
oh,
at you.
you crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy.
So I didn't get fajitas that day.
apparently, yeah.
And he's like, I'll bring you something. I'll bring you. I usually don't let the waiter like
yeah, just
pick
choose
my
for you.
food for
Yeah.
me. So he comes back and
That's
it's like
kinda
this
odd.
little,
Just like,
I don't know what
do
it
you trust
was.
me?
And it was just smothered in tomatillo sauce.
Mine was
It was-
smothered in tomatillo sauce too, and it wasn't too
I
bad.
didn't like it at all, dude.
I was gonna get shrimp cocktail because I'm on keto, and I know that's about one thing I can have that's Mexican. And so he asked me what I wanted, and I said shrimp, and he comes out with a dish that pretty much was keto.
I heard about like, you being on keto. What does that do to you? Do you feel different being
Yeah.
on just keto? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, when I started August 1st,
Okay.
and that's pushing 40 pounds now.
Oh, wow.
He's lost 40
And
pounds.
about-
Yeah.
But what about, because I know, like people, even like their health,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Their mental, like, mental conditions change because of because you are what you eat, literally. Like
Yeah. No, that's true.
That has never been a true statement. So how do you feel like waking up in the morning? Do you feel different?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
My knees, because I stocked shelves for
Okay.
years, so I was on my knees constantly. And I was getting to the point now where I possibly was looking at surgery,
Oh, wow.
and I don't know what the heck's going on. They still, hurt every now and again. I still struggle, depending on the position I've been in a long time, getting up. But I couldn't even get up off the floor without having support of something.
Okay.
And now it's like, boom, right up.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And, a lot of that's the pounds going off too.
Yeah.
Right. I
Less
was gonna
stress
say.
on the knees, but I used to have spells like, and I eat regularly too. Try to eat regularly, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if I don't do lunch, I try to grab something, and if I don't, then I start going back to my phase where I fall. In the afternoon I want a nap.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be, I thought it was because, I just ate and had all this gluten and all this other crap, and it's not that. It's just you got to keep your body on a regular basis.
Routine, yeah.
And so
Yeah,
I've got more strength and more stamina than
Yeah,
That's good.
I've been thinking about like I want to change my diet. Like one of the first steps I took was the whole quitting soda, all pop drinks, all the stuff like that. I just don't do that anymore. I mean, I don't really feel that much different because it hasn't been that long, but I'm pretty sure it's good for me because I've seen videos of what they use this crap for, like cleaning toilets with Coke. It makes it spotless.
battery acid.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Cleans rust.
Yeah, dude,
It
it's insane.
cleans battery acid off a battery.
Yeah,
so.
it's ridiculously powerful. So I'm guessing, what does that do to your bones? Because
Yeah.
that just no.
I quit pop. What Jason was going
A long time.
five or 6 years now.
That's really good. Yeah,
That's tough for me because that's one of my weaknesses. Like we were talking earlier, like you don't really understand how
Yep.
hooked you are on something
Unless you try to
until
quit.
you try quitting, and then
I agree with that.
it's like you realize how much of a slave you are to that.
Yeah,
Like, it's-
exactly.
it's
And
nuts.
like we talked about, it doesn't have to be something you
Food,
drink or
yeah.
it could be literally anything. Like
Yeah.
it could be like even physical things that you do. You know what I mean? Like that gives you a sensory award in your brain. Like sometimes you do some things and your brain rewards you with like joy and happiness. That could be addicting too.
Yeah, anything that controls your life.
Yeah, basically.
Anything that controls your life.
Stimulates your brain in a way, you know what I mean? Yeah, it could be addicting. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, other than I would say God, your faith.
Well,
but I
that's
know some
different.
people do get too crazy though.
Well, yeah, that's what extremism comes from. But like, the thing is about religion and like the current, like the view to religion from the scientific community, for example, and how media, like mainstream media, religion is mocked constantly. You know what I mean? Like, in like, okay, he's religious, ha ha, cue the laughing soundtrack. But to me, it's doing so much good in the world. Like, people just kind of brush that off. It's a sort of like spiritual fulfillment for a lot of people. It gives people a reason to live. Like, somebody at work I'm not gonna name, who's been like suicidal. He told me he has suicidal thoughts, and it's through his faith that he's learned to overcome. Yeah, he's like, I know life is not easy, but I know something eventually, because God has a plan for all of us, stuff like that. That's what he believes in. I was like, hey man, all power to you. Believe what you want to believe. Don't be ashamed of it. And he even told me that, I'm so happy that you listen to me. Usually I just get mocked. I'm like, dude, why would I do that? That's just awesome that you have something to believe in. And I just feel like that should be, even from the scientific community, that should be the approach to the whole, like, to religion. Don't mock it. Just say, you know what? Do you? That's awesome. Because I just don't think
Well, we're all responsible for our own lives.
Exactly, yeah.
And all we're responsible for is loving one another and lifting other people up and serving one another, doing good for one another. Yeah. And I mean, I believe that, God will work things out in them. It doesn't take me trying to fix them. And but I wanted to finish with this. Like, I love because I come from a Christian background, and you probably come from Islamic background.
I'm Muslim.
Yeah, Muslim. And I just love how you could be friends and connect with people that are different faith. You still believe in God, but just different ways, different ideas. And
if I disagree with what you believe, that doesn't make you less of a human to me.
Less of a person,
honestly, I'm told to be even nicer to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm told to be nicer to all people. You know what's funny? The other day, I just remembered it. When I got invited to John's house to eat, you had a Muslim, 2 Christians, and a Jew on one table. We were just having food.
And that... Guys, and that's what I wanted to end this podcast with.
Just love each other, man.
That is what this is all about. Okay, we're one people on this earth, this planet Earth. We get to share. We get this earth. We're borrowing this planet for a short period of time, and eventually, we all leave this earth. And what we got to do is we got to leave it a better place than when we came here. Exactly. And we do that by loving one another and put our differences aside. And, even, with religion, different beliefs, different ideas, but also the political stuff right now, that's relevant because we are about to go vote, which hopefully you guys go vote. Because it's not good to have an opinion about something unless you're going to do something,
let your voice be heard.
Let your voice be heard. So whatever you vote, everyone knows I'm conservative, but that's okay. I love everyone that's not conservative, that's liberal. You're my friends. I got tons of friends that are liberal. I've had some on the show before, and I'll still hang out with them, and it's okay. Totally okay. Yes. And I want that for this planet. I want that for my generation and the future generations to come, is we can disagree on certain things, political views, whatever it is, and still be friends and still do good things for one another. And that's how we're going to change the world.
Disagreement does not mean that I hate you. If I disagree with you, I can love you and disagree with you. It's totally fine. Exactly. Like, if I disagree with you, it's not me. It's just
exactly
that's what we should do. But
what do you think, Charlie? Do you agree with that?
Take that.
Or do you disagree with me?
As long as you're going.
You know what? I disagree.
The only time I'll disagree with you is you tell me the Earth is flat.
Oh yeah, that's funny. We got a couple of flat earther friends.
You have someone on the show?
Not on the show.
Laugh.
Wait a minute, I'm a flat earther.
They will. Yeah, I disagree with you.
Start jabbing Jason under the table.
I disagree with you, but I'm still your friend.
I love you so freaking much.
I freaking love you. It's like
Jason and the child go like,
that supervisor guy from work. Like, remember the guy, the John dude with the ponytail that ended up leaving, the drill sergeant guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! He comes walking in. He's just like. I'm like, dude, one day I'm gonna look out there. He's gonna have someone in a headlock and just like, next time you'll do what I tell you.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So, anyways, Charlie, is there something you gotta say before I?
You want my 5 jokes I got?
Okay.
We're way past.
All right, 5 jokes, quick ones. What did one eye say to the other eye?
Stop looking at me. I don't know.
Something smells between us.
Okay.
All right.
Dad.
Why did the fungus downsize?
Because he was a fun guy.
Had too much mushroom.
Okay.
That was not a good one.
All right, here's a good one. How can you tell if a shop is new?
Because it's, I don't know, new
No
shop.
store age. It's a new store. No, there's no age on the store.
Okay, that's a okay, that's a good one.
That was
The noise. Not
Wait, now how?
the noise is better
How
than
is
it
a bad joke like a broken pencil?
because it draws
What?
attention to.
Jason, you're way out in left field. They have no point.
Okay, yeah. You
That wasn't, I'm trying to figure out these buttons here.
So you're just testing him out on Charlie.
And last but not least, how do you get a country girl's attention?
Start singing. About
Give her some biscuits and gravy.
Start singing about your truck. I'm pretty sure that's how you get the
A
girl.
tractor.
Okay, I was close. The realization.
Oh wait, there's one more. It's
Oh
six.
my God! Let's just say.
Two guys walked into a bar.
And the other ducked.
The other third one ducked.
Oh my
you
God!
got
I'm
it.
like, is he really gonna say that
Yeah, he
joke? Because
did.
that's like the oldest joke in the book.
Uh-huh, he did
That's
it.
like, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side?
We're just-
So what are we gonna do?
I got something.
Give me that look, Charlie.
I got something.
What do you got for me?
I got something. I got a D-headphone eyes.
All right, he's gonna de-headphone.
He doesn't hear what we're saying. Wait, he's just like a few feet away.
He has no idea what we're saying.
Okay, you can talk about me now.
All right, we're gonna
All right,
talk.
this is a little bit old, but it finally came in the mail. I don't know what's next wrong with our mail system.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Oh,
look what Charlie has
that's
for me.
awesome, dude.
Can you see
I like
that? We'll
that.
put it on the other camera too.
Yeah,
That looks sick.
that.
That is Jason's first penny he's ate.
Yeah.
Did you make that? Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, did you put that heart on there, Charlie?
No, that's your wife did that.
Oh,
he said
I'm
that when we
like,
were downstairs.
I was kind of hoping that was you.
Oh.
You put that heart there for me.
What does it
That's the
say?
date You actually made
It
it.
says June 1st,
Oh, yeah,
2020.
the date. Okay.
Is that when I made my
I
first
think
pin?
so, yeah.
Okay,
Probably, yeah.
Because that's not just recently.
right. So Charlie's presenting to me and to us. We did this together. Our first penny, right there, a ginormous penny. I wonder, is it a real penny that was just? No, that's a stupid
stretched
question.
out.
It's like,
Yeah, Jason, that's one that they accidentally
Just
produced.
one.
You know, it's worth $1 gazillion.
Yeah.
well, it's almost the size of a little
That's
plate.
why it took me 6 months to find it.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you ever need another coaster,
Oh yeah, there we go. A coaster
Nah,
or a
we wouldn't do that to
frisbee or
Charlie.
something. But
looks
then-
sick. I like it.
Yeah, so this is the very first penny that I made
Made
on
on
the
Anchor?
show on Anchor. If you guys don't know about Anchor, I'm on Anchor and all the podcast platforms that are out there pretty much because of Anchor. They put me out there, and you guys should definitely check them out if you want to get into podcasting. But yeah, congratulations to the show, to the hard
Congratulations,
work.
man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, and now we've made a total of, I think it's somewhere over $2-something,
Yeah, I think you
around
told me like
$3.
214.
Oh my
I
God,
think it's
we're
like $3.
swimming in the money.
Dude, I'm just like pennies.
Yeah, it's like pennies.
Like I'm going in like,
ow, ow, ow,
like
ow.
pennies, like ting, ting, ting,
You're
ting.
just ducking and trying to avoid you.
But anyways, thanks, Charlie. And thanks to all the fans out there that made this possible. You know, it's the small things that matter.
Yes, sir.
It's these small little milestones that turn into a big milestone. And so I'm grateful for the journey. It's been a long one. I got a lot to learn, a lot to grow, but you know what? I'm excited and I look forward to doing this and sharing everything with you guys, this journey. One day I'll be making a video with 10,000, 100,000, even 1 million subscribers.
You're stoked.
And that day is coming and I believe in it. And until then, I'm going to keep my hands on the plow.
Right here in this attic studio.
Yeah, this attic, a lot of memories are being made. And one day, hopefully, I'll have a big studio. So we are 10 minutes over, but that's totally fine.
Yeah,
we had a good
time
time.
flies when you have a good
Dude,
time.
Khaled.
Oh, yes.
Bro. Dude.
I hope,
Bro.
that I did good on the show.
Hey,
You did great.
Can your mom try to make some keto-friendly ones?
I will definitely ask her, what do you not want in your food?
Bread.
Like, I'm not really educated
French
about
fries.
the whole
Yeah, the French fries definitely can't go in there.
Okay.
No potatoes.
bread. I'm guessing is a bad.
Well, they do have some. It's based on keto is based on net carbs.
Okay.
So there is some tortillas out there that have net carbs of 4 instead of 40.
You know, every single time I try to end the show on go back and look on every single podcast, especially with Charlie in it, at the very end when I'm bringing it home,
whoop.
I mean, I'm bringing this thing home and it's amazing. I feel it and it's amazing. And then Charlie throws in something like that. And then we go on for another 10 minutes.
You can definitely, I can grab your number and then like you could just text me the information and I could totally.
Matter of fact, I got tortillas at the house. I can.
Just give me the ingredients that you would like and I will send it with Jason. Totally.
I'll peel it apart down there and look at it.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right, shut up. Shut it.
Wait a minute.
right.
I wasn't
No,
done.
but anyways, thank
I've been
you.
on in a couple shows. I got a lot to make up.
You got a lot,
Yeah.
You're making a lot.
The return.
A lot of magic with your jokes there, Charlie.
Well, man.
So, Charlie, thanks for being on the show again. You're an amazing part of the show and success and just
Agreed.
encouraging me and keeping me going. Appreciate you, man. And, dude, it's been awesome, bro.
Thanks for having me, man. I had fun. It was
Yeah, and I'm going to be working hard probably tonight, maybe all day tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm trying to edit this thing and
I was
crank it
going to
out
ask you
there.
when you were going to get this on.
It will be out tomorrow.
Okay,
I will
then-
have it out there.
Then we were going to make this
Before
statement
Halloween.
on behalf of
Even-
the rest of the United States of America. Don't forget to set your clocks back on Saturday night before you go to bed.
Oh, yes. Good one.
Saturday night. Watch me put this out on Monday. Everyone's like, you son of a...
Wait.
I was late to work.
Exactly. Blame Jason.
All
right,
But anyways, we're falling back. But anyways. All right. Love you guys. Do good things.
Yes.
Love one another.
Yes.
Do good things for other people.
Who's carrying
Not just
on now?
yourself. And we're out of here. This has been another podcast, number 34, starring
Is it 34?
yours truly. Yeah, 34. Tune in for the next one, guys.
Or is it 36?
Thanks for listening to the This Could Make Us Famous podcast. Want to help make someone famous? Have a story to share? Get in touch with us at facebook.com/This Could Make Us Famous. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a single episode.